Short ball, Brabham moves back and falls scarcely past square leg. So this is cricket.
Victory to the Australians by 8 wickets.
He's got it! Got him! Round! He's got two! Beautifully caught!
He's done it.
That is an excellent 100. The last ball, can you believe that?
Welcome, folks, to the new episode of Pod for Control of Cricket in India. In today's episode, we will be a bit free flowing. The primary thing that we will discuss is India and the prospects of India in the next 2020 World Cup. And beyond that, we will talk about one of the greatest phenomena that is happening in cricket, outside of cricket, that is ex Pakistani cricketers coming up with channels every day, YouTube channels, and also some statements that have been made by some cricketers in the last few weeks that we'd like to discuss. But broadly, it's the focus is on the Indian side or the potential Indian side for the next 2020 World Cup. With that, I will start with Aditya. Aditya, first thoughts on how India has been over the last few years in 2020, and how do you see India perform in the coming World Cup?
Of all the three formats in the upcoming year, I think I'm least hopeful of the T20 format. Uh, Starting 2007, which was just a fluke when everyone else was also learning how to play the game. That's the only time. It's no coincidence that that's the only time we look good in that format, right? And ever since, and I think a lot of this blame also has to lie with Dhoni's way of approaching the format, right? Dhoni, by the time we were around 2011, 2012, Dhoni had become a completely different batsman, and I think he molded the entire approach to the game slightly differently to the others. So we are more conservative largely, and
Yeah.
I don't think that I don't think that that kind of an approach to the game works anymore in T20 cricket. So largely, I'm not very hopeful going into the next year.
So, it's the same question to you, Nishant. What do you feel?
So, interesting choice of words when you said we'll be free flowing. That's exactly what India isn't in T20s. So, I think, yes, a bit of blame lies with Dhoni because of, I don't know why he feels that every match should be taken down to the last ball. So, but yeah, I am also the least hopeful out of the three formats in T20s. And the reason I feel is that we just we just don't know how to bat first in T20s. That putting a price on the wicket thing is ruining us.
Yeah,
And the problem is that forget about the commentators, even like from what Kohli said in his last press conference, like one or two players have to anchor the innings. It just doesn't make sense. I would like to know the thought process behind that, कि वो reasoning आ कहाँ से रही है, because we were lucky yesterday because first of all we were not batting first, we were chasing. Yesterday, by I mean in the first T20 against the West Indies, and plus their bowling was nothing close to what you will face in a World Cup from a top side. So yeah, we got lucky, but I really don't know why is there a need to have both Rohit Sharma and Virat
Vaishali,
Kohli,
Vaishali.
get to a stage where there are like 25 or 25 balls and then start going for it. Especially with if Hardik is in the team, whenever he comes back, Jadeja is doing decently. You're trying out Shivam Dubey. So I mean, why do we always want to get to 180 for three instead of trying to get to 220 for eight?
You
But
you were.
at the risk of sounding controversial, uh, Sharma takes the same approach in one day cricket, and very often in one day cricket also it has actually backfired on us. So
Yes, it has. But
But
at least in one day
more so in
cricket,
2020.
yeah, I mean,
yeah,
you have
and
300
even more
balls.
so in 2020. Yeah,
So that approach, I kind of agree with. I mean, again, right? I mean, that approach it has to be on a situation by situation basis. So, but in one day cricket, there is less chance of that backfiring. In T20, mostly it does.
Yeah, so I know, Nishan, that you have some numbers with you. I don't know if you have this number, but w- do you have like average scores made by teams in 2020 and in a comparison for India, how much they've
So
made?
I don't have average scores, but I do have something similar. By the way, I just looked at the data starting January 1st, 2015. So basically the last four,
Hmm.
5 years, which
Hmm.
includes the 2016 World Cup, in which that one particular match against the West Indies, I know one of
Yeah,
us will bring up.
I was just
So
about to bring it up when you guys were talking about Rohit Sharma and the way we approach the innings. But
yeah,
yeah.
and this is the last 5 years in tournaments in which they're not bilateral tournaments. Okay, actually I have both, so we can compare. So in bilateral tournaments, India's win to loss ratio is the best among all. So we have played 71 matches, we have won 47, and we have lost 22. I mean, this is just not bilateral. This is including both bilateral and multinational tournaments. So this is
Okay.
how our stats get padded up. And and if we look at like multinational tournaments, again, इसमें Asia Cup भी included है, which happened, and that Nida Hasa Trophy, which happened in T20 format. But to be fair, in India, in Asia, I don't think that's a fair comparison because pretty much all the other teams are, uh, weak.
But
Pakistan is
but
number
pretty
one,
much,
but
yeah, but
that's
pretty much in largely in bilaterals, mostly teams do not field their full side, right? In T20s.
Uh, I don't know because most of the teams have actually gone the way where I mean there is no one full side, right? I mean England,
Yeah,
Australia, and even New Zealand, they have T20 specialists
and but
and they do
but
play. Uh,
yeah, but even in their cases, uh, teams are perennially testing out players if there is a format where there is
yeah,
always
but
chopping and
they're
changing going
testing
on, it
out.
is T20.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but they're testing out those players who they know, who do well in the Big Bash or the CPL or the IPL.
true. That's true.
So, and the important numbers here is, in
Mhm.
multi-nation tournaments. So I've just sorted this list down. So again, last five
Mhm.
years, multi-nation tournaments, India is India's third from bottom when it comes to runs per over.
And अपने नीचे कौन है?
अपने नीचे बांग्लादेश and Sri Lanka. That's it.
पाकिस्तान अपने ऊपर है.
Pakistan
हाँ हाँ
is
पाकिस्तान.
two spots above. I mean, they're also not great. So India scores at 7.84. Pakistan is scoring at 7.9. So then it's not much of a difference there. But yeah, they're above. Australia do this the best. They score at 9 runs and over. South Africa and England again close to 9. But India's average is good. India's average is 31. So again, that putting a price on the wicket, like we lose a wicket every 31 runs, but we only score at 7.8 runs and over. So
And this is something that I wanted to kind of talk about is, and we've talked about this a number of times, that the top three that and I'm not talking about the most recent game that we watched, that is the India West Indies T20 first T20, but overall India has Dhawan, Rohit, and Kohli as their top
oh,
three. All.
by the
Mhm,
way, we do like we have played 15 multination matches. I mean,
mhm.
matches from multination tournaments. We have won 12. We have lost only three, but all three have been like knockouts.
So is it a knockout problem or is it a 2020 problem that we are
No,
facing?
I think it is a 2020 problem because even in the first T20 against the West Indies, like the last reference point that we have, pretty much till over number 13, 14, it was going uh, per script. It's just that somehow Kohli,
It is also a limited overs cricket problem actually,
yeah,
because
you're right, yeah.
when it comes to, so the way England did it was they revolutionized all of their limited overs cricket, right? So we tend to forget that they were also part of the 2016 World T20 final. So that's
Yeah,
how
yeah,
they
yeah.
that's how quickly that they changed. Like they adapted from the 2015 disaster, and immediately after that they switched on to playing all one day cricket in the same
Yeah,
manner.
they got. I mean, Morgan brought in
And I think
Hales, Roy.
India got sucked into this conservative approach because 2013 Champions Trophy we won defending 120 against a
Hmm.
mediocre English side, and right through the tournament it was also like a 220 230. So we had a
It was a
side which
very
was always,
it
yeah,
was unusually like rainy, cloudy during
rainy,
that
Yeah,
tournament.
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
assisted spin
Uh,
It
that
assisted. Yeah,
tournament.
that was the main. I mean, I think that's why Dhoni went that way, right? Because he knew that even if he has 140 to defend, like he would have 12, 15 overs of spinners in which he'll choke everyone, choke the opponents, and they'll play fall shot, fall shots towards the end and give their wickets away. Um,
So
I mean,
it's no coincidence that that is the last ICC tournament that we won. तब से जब भी tournaments have been played in venues where that, or you have had a high scoring tournament, I think we have at some point it always had to fail, right? Every tournament since 2013, be it the 2015 World Cup, 2016 World T20, we always knew that there was this one bad day coming.
2015
क्योंकि
World Cup, one day World Cup, we just lost to a much
no, we
better team
superior
that
side,
day.
but
Much better team.
even then we were playing a brand of cricket where everyone else was targeting 300, 350. Our conservative approach has been right through the board. That's the point.
yeah, yeah. So I think India across all form, like in one day, India still I think has, if a pitch is like difficult enough where it's like 270, 280, I don't think India it's an easy opponent to beat. But
Yeah,
mostly
but
that's not happening. The moment it goes to 320, we just, if it's not Kohli, or if you're batting first and Sharma just goes big, other than that, we don't have any chance in that
so
case.
I will just give like, so I think I agree that it is Dhoni. I also, and please don't kill me, but I also think this is a little Rohit Sharma effect in our cricket as well, where Rohit Sharma, maybe all of his numbers map to Sehwag's number and are better, I guess. But there is something about the way he plays is he starts slow, even if it is a 2020 game. He just has this habit of starting slow, and combined coupled with Dhawan, it was like Dhawan also more or less like he times some shots really well. So there are some fours even when he's starting, but both of them are conservative starters more or less, which in a 2020 game is makes it difficult to sustain for a because then we have Kohli coming in, who's also like who's who's a good batsman and a great hitter, but he relies more on singles and doubles than big shots. Uh, we don't have a Jason Roy. I mean Rohit Sharma ko we can compare to a Jason Roy, but again they don't start from ball one. And I think this has seeped into our one day and 2020 cricket where we
And I also agree with you, and I think a lot of people will kill us for that. Rohit Sharma, in terms of his impact at the highest level, I don't think he has had the impact. He has the numbers, but he hardly has the impact of a Yuvraj or a
and
Sehwag.
the thing is the funny
Yeah, I
thing
mean,
is
see, comparing with Yuvraj is very tough. I mean, he won us two World Cups. But where I would disagree is that, again, I would disagree in a different way where I would also be killed.
Mhm.
Because I think one day or T20 mein Rohit should be captain and not Kohli. Um, and that way, not only Rohit will have a better impact, but I don't know. I mean, especially in T20s, especially even if you see like if Kohli is the captain and if Dhoni was there, Kohli was not the captain while playing.
Yeah.
And I mean, Rohit has a good IPL captaincy record to show for it, and we
So,
know
but
what
this
has
is the
happened.
difference. So this is where I slightly disagree. So first of all, something tells me that Indian cricket and Indian cricket, the people behind Indian cricket, are not really pro change. They really like the status quo, and because we've had the luxury over the last few years of having a really good bowling attack, we've
Very
been
similar
able.
to Indian society.
Yeah, I mean
Exactly.
that's everywhere, right? Right from taking, accepting DRS to
Mm.
day-night tests, and
Exactly.
like we just don't do it.
हाँ तो बेसिकली उस वजह से and the first reaction to any problem is or to the backfire effect, as they say. They become more strong, they dig in, and they, like this World Cup, right? They kept someone, I think Shastri said that we topped the group stage. Did you go to the
Yeah.
World Cup to top the group stage? um but
England were almost knocked out of the World Cup in the group
exactly,
stage. So
exactly.
yeah,
And so like it doesn't matter, but like, so the only way that I think any change will come is via IPL, because because currently Indian cricket is in such a place where we don't have any outsider making decisions in India. It's all Indians, and everyone is happy scratching each other's backs. So in IPL, when these cricketers interact with other international coaches and other international players and see their approach and how they're approaching the game, that is the only like kind of hope that I see in terms of the way we approach the games. But this World Cup, I don't see us, and again, we could be very wrong, but I don't see us going beyond the semifinals. And semifinals, because our bowling is exceptionally good. Once we have Bumrah back, I don't see any teams like this last game, right? I don't see any team scoring 200 against us.
yeah.
Of course, on a bad day, anything can happen, but like in general. And therefore, I think if it's 160, 170, 180, we will sail through.
What
Having,
might work for us though is the bigger grounds in Australia. So
yeah, that's also,
So, so what I was saying was, I honestly don't think, especially with Bumrah in, and if we also somehow, I don't know what's the deal with Shami in T20s, but our
I'd still
bowling,
go for Shami in
yeah,
T20s.
I mean, I would also. It's just that I honestly have no answer, like whether if the problem is on Shami's side, he doesn't want, or he wants more overs to get into rhythm, whatever. But he is a very good bowler. I don't know
I think
why.
you'll see a different Shami if you have him in T20 now. I think we've,
But even in the IPL, he plays, right? But he hasn't like he hasn't set it on fire like Bumrah did.
But there are these last three knockout games that we have won, lost in ICC events. Shami has sat out all those three games. So he
Anyway,
should have, according to me, he should have played the Champions Trophy final in 2017, given that the opponent was Pakistan. He potentially could have played the 2016 semis, given that you knew that the West Indies big hitting
yeah,
ability
yeah,
against
and I
quick
mean
bowling.
Kohli bowled 2 overs in that.
Kohli bowled 2 overs,
Yeah,
and
oh
eventually,
my
and
god,
you
that,
knew
yeah.
that due
yeah,
and everything else that went around, and then you also had the last World Cup where semi-final where I don't see any reason why Shami should have sat out.
yeah.
So
No, I mean the point I was making was I don't really
yeah,
think the bowling is a problem in T20,
yeah.
especially with Jadeja also in there. So I think that's fine. It's just the batting, which is I don't know. The people have this. I've read on Cricket Info and everywhere. Somehow, someone brought up this formula that
Mm.
your average plus strike rate should be as close to 200 as possible. It does
No,
not.
it's the strike rate plus average, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Average plus strike rate should be.
Cumulatively, yeah.
So, but that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me unless both are like 50 and 150. I mean 50 bhi kyun, like it ideally it should be 30 and 170.
Hmm.
I mean if that's where you're going, but then why does it have to be 200? Like I don't know who came up with that.
So I have a different. I mean, I don't
Because
disagree
I
with
have
you.
some more numbers here. So
Go
these
for
are
it.
again same 2015 to 2019. All the batsmen who have scored at least 400 T20 runs, T20 Is. I don't have data for all the leagues. The first Indian on it, and again, this is I've sorted by strike rate. The first Indian on it, I think, is again Rohit Sharma. No, it's KL Rahul, but he is way beyond 15. Like we're not even in the top 15 when it comes to strike rate.
Oh,
And Rohit
really?
Sharma
That's
is even,
interesting.
yeah. We have obviously Colin Munro who scores at 166 and also averages 33, so that's different. And then we have Maxwell, Finch, a couple of West Indians, Guptill, Bairstow Roy, obviously. But yeah, the first one we have is KL Rahul, whose strike rate is 146 and average is 43. And that strike rate is also, it's sort of it's not consistent, right? He scored that fantastic 100 in Florida, but then
Yeah.
other times he hasn't really been that quick. So
And also, a lot of these stats they get padded up because opposition bowling attacks in bilateral T20s
yeah,
are
yeah,
not the same as those in
yeah,
World
yeah, yeah.
T20s.
Stark never plays a bilateral T20. I
Stark
think.
never plays, and
Yeah.
same is with a lot of other sides. So this World T20, England, I think, might field Archer for sure. And if you face England in a bilateral T20 next week, they wouldn't actually
Yeah, yeah.
play you for Archer. So a lot of these stats actually look much better than they actually are. So
So this is my take, and this is a take that I think no Indian cricket think like admin will agree to. My take is there are 120 balls, and at best you have 8 players, your top 8 who can bat. So going by that logic, you should only pick batsmen who can make an impact
In 15
in
balls.
in
Yeah.
15 balls. So I'm not saying that they will only play 15 balls, but if there is a player who cannot make an impact in the first 15 balls he plays, he should not be picked in a team. And by that logic, Rohit Sharma seems like, and I know you guys will kill me also, but like I would ideally see KL Rahul and a Hardik Pandya open for us in a T20 game, and just see how it goes. Like, and especially these series that but again, we will not do it because we are just not cut out to think like that.
No,
But
when I was suggesting Rohit Sharma over Kohli captaining, I mean, the given thing was that this 11 or this 15, the code 15 will not change. What you are suggesting is very radical. And if we go
yeah,
that way, then that is the right thing. Although I would say, I would qualify it by saying this 15 ball per wicket approach to maximize that when you're batting first. When you're chasing, I think it can still be.
yeah,
Like you don't have to do, I mean, once you have the target, then you adjust it.
that's that. I agree with that. And when I said the 15 ball things, I was also thinking of batting first approach and how to maximize the potential of how much you can make.
that
Uh,
is where we have lost games actually in T20,
and
even recently.
I don't think this is like, I don't think Shastri is thinking about it. I don't. Shastri to
I
catch though. It's funny.
I think the Shastri Kohli duo. It's like even if you have a pattern that is emerging over a period of time, these guys don't seem to see it, or they don't seem to acknowledge it, given the fact that अरे हमारा stats बहुत अच्छा है. So
Yeah, those bilaterals, man. I mean, we probably, so we won 2-1 against Bangladesh. We will probably win 3-0 here with West
we
Indies.
couldn't win against South Africa, which had like a super understrength side. So, so that should tell you that there is a trend emerging and you aren't doing well. But the only thing that people look at least the team management seems to look at, is the fact that we win more than we lose. But when it comes to bigger tournaments, that really doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah. And even while chasing, going back to that, I also don't think that Dhoni's approach is fine. That, you just dig in and हर बार last ball पे छक्का मार के नहीं
that is
जीतना है.
atrocious.
And
Actually, that is
the
symptomatic
only
of,
thing I would agree ever with Gautam Gambhir on.
yeah, that is actually symptomatic of all our woes. The very first World T20 that we won, we only have to cast our mind back to the only time we won that tournament, right? How did we win it? In that semi-final, we needed like, we scored a definitely above par score for that era of T20s, right? We had
You mean the Australia one?
the
Sorry.
Australia one
Yeah,
against
180, 188,
180.
yeah, 8 or something. Yeah.
against a high quality bowling attack. We did that. We scored a 200 in our previous game against England.
And yeah, I mean, that was Yuvraj, man.
That was vintage Yuvraj, but you also had Uthappa. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, against Australia. Wow.
against
Wow.
Australia. So you didn't have like a stale mindset going into that game. So that is all you have to look for. Then moving into the immediate next tournament, if we just look at how the trend emerged, Dhoni was this more formulaic, conservative captain by the time we entered 2009, and in England we face a very mediocre English side in 2009 in a must-win game, and Ravindra Jadeja is sent in to bat at number 3 in the trenches against England. A very moderate trenches of around 140 or something in that game. And Jadeja plays a run ball 25 and we lose the plot. And Yuvraj has very few balls to actually
Yeah.
face. By the time he gets in, he has 6 overs to face, and we lose by 4 or 5 runs. And we lose to West Indies in that very tournament in a very similar fashion, where we set a very below par score. So by the time we enter 2009, the contrast is very stark. So we go from a free flowing side to a very conservative side by 2009, and that seems to have stuck. By in 2014, the reason we reached the final was because it's a sluggish wickets in Dhaka, and Amit
Which
Mishra and
might be
Ashwin
the
could.
case in the next year 2020 World Cup, where we might it's I mean not sluggish, but because it will be in India. And again,
Hmm.
I think Indian team is good enough to reach the semifinals of any
And
tournament at this point.
it will be designed in a way that we do also. Um,
इस बार
Somebody
interesting चीज एक
mentioned
चीज just
Ashwin, right? So Ashwin, I don't know why Ashwin is not. Is it just because of his fielding that we don't play him in T20s?
Also the batting, right?
No,
Sometimes we
but
consider him to be a less flamboyant batsman than Jadeja
but
was.
but not having him in the squad and going again. I mean, if you want, we can move to the Kulcha thing,
Hmm.
because that does not. I don't think having both has helped at all. Both together, I mean, you can probably have one of those. The problem is that if you're playing both, right, it's more of a one day problem, but sometimes it creeps into T20s as well. Our bottom 4 5 are just sitting ducks.
yeah, and that's
Yeah.
what
So
I'm saying, that you can at best have three players who just cannot bat at all,
yeah.
9, 10, 11, but your top 8 should know, and that is why there is like Deepak Chahar jo hai na, I
Yeah,
know
he is
कि
better. Yeah.
yeah, he can. I don't know if you guys watched. I watched the whole Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy actually. He opened.
Oh,
He
okay.
opened for Rajasthan. Similarly, Washington Sundar opened for Tamil Nadu.
Yeah, Washington Sundar, I think, yeah, I have seen him do that for India. I think we sent him
By the
up.
by, Ashwin also opened in one of the games for Tamil Nadu. But like
No, but I
Ashwin's,
think that's also the reason where, like you see Dhoni's last IPL, he was very aggressive. So maybe having in the back of your mind, a bottom five of Kulcha, Bumrah, and Nehraji, versus knowing that you still have Bravo and Jadeja to come. Maybe that also makes a difference.
Or look at the English national side. Like you have Archer,
Oh
you
yeah,
had
I mean they have 11. Basically, they have
you,
11
you had
batsmen.
Plunkett and Archer batting
Yeah,
at like number
10 and
10
11.
and 11.
Yeah,
So
we don't have that luxury.
even
We
Stark,
can
Australia has
Stark
that.
and bat. Yeah,
Yeah.
but we don't have that luxury. But we have to pick a team that at least bats till 8. And also one important point that I think. Uh, I even in tests actually, we only have two players in our 11, even in test matches, who are less than 30.
hmm.
And I think we,
Are you
as a
counting
team,
Shami in that?
yeah, I
Shami
So
and
know.
just
Mayank.
so Bumrah and Shami, that's it.
Mayank.
नहीं
Oh yeah,
अभी
man.
Mayank, Mayank
नहीं
is
अब
28,
मैं
I think.
अभी recent टीम की बात कर रहा हूँ जिसमें बुमराह नहीं खेला ना.
Okay.
Oh
But
okay.
what I'm saying is that it's especially our batting. It's 2007 का एकदम एंटीथेसिस है बेसिकली, जहाँ पे एकदम नए नए सब आ गए थे. लाइक यू वुड हैव बीन लाइक 2007 में फॉर एनी इंडियन टीम टू नॉट हैव Dravid and Sachin is like unimaginable, right? And yet we just did it because we didn't care enough, and now we care too much, and that is the problem, I think.
I think
Ultimately,
the answer is right in front of us. The approach in 2007 is what we should adapt. So we might lose more in the bargain, but go for it. Yeah, फर्क पड़ता है. We haven't
But
won
again,
in
we
any.
only have 1 year. I mean, yes, there is an IPL plus we can literally we are in a position that अभी practice करनी है इंडिया को T20 की तो 4 टीम को बुला लिया. But there is
दो
only
बैक टू
one.
बैक वर्ल्ड T20 है पता है.
हाँ, yeah.
2020 और 21 में मतलब
वो
why
मुझे
why
और एक
so?
अलग वो लगता है, मतलब
In fact, the
पॉइंट.
2021 is
Why?
anyway going to overflow into 2021 because it's happening. Isn't it in Australia?
Yes,
So yeah.
I think it's earlier in the year. I think it's
नहीं
before
नहीं,
the test season
2020
starts.
में जो हो रहा है वो ऑस्ट्रेलिया में,
अक्टूबर
2021
में.
में जो है वो इंडिया में हो
हाँ.
रहा है.
नहीं
So
नहीं but
the 2021 is anyway going to overflow into January 2021, I think.
नहीं.
No?
I think the 2020 वाला Australia one begins in October or November this time. So
Oh, अच्छा, अच्छा.
it is because they'll not let go of their test calendar.
Test
Right?
calendar, yeah, that's true. And in India is playing there.
Yeah.
those
So
tests.
Yeah, India
they
has had
they've
two.
requested for 2 day-night tests, by the way.
अरे वो तो गांगुली ने बोल दिया ना, थोड़ा ज्यादा हो गया.
मतलब यहाँ एक खेलने के लिए ये लोग राजी नहीं होंगे. आई थिंक इट्स अ वे ऑफ बार्गेनिंग.
But that
भैया
will be
20
nice,
में
yaar.
दे
I
दो तो.
mean, I'm really waiting for it because abhi Smith and Warner were not there. Plus, it's going to be a part of the Test Championship.
The tour, yes. I don't really much care कि day night हो रहा है कि day हो रहा है. I don't know if it doesn't really matter.
Actually,
Genuinely.
day and night ho to aur bhi better hai because it will, for me, it will be even for you. It will be a good
Oh,
like
time
time
wise.
zone. Time wise.
हाँ वैसे
बट
हाँ
ऑस्ट्रेलिया इन
वैसे
एनी केस टाइम जोन का इतना इशू नहीं होता है. मतलब इट स्टार्ट्स अराउंड 7 इश, तो
which
एक
will be
सेशन तो.
interesting कि अभी 2020 World Cup will be interesting. I was thinking about this कि usually they schedule it so that India में prime time में हो match. But there is almost no way that they can schedule the 2020 World Cup in Australia in such a way that it will be prime time in India. So I
होता
don't
है,
know.
प्राइम टाइम नहीं होता है, बट व्हाट दे विल डू इज दे विल हैव इट ऑन अ वीकेंड where it starts in the afternoon for India post lunch.
And another thing that I found interesting is after a long time, India and Pakistan are not in the same group.
Oh, they
Thankfully
are
so.
not. Okay.
They are not in the same group.
Yeah,
Exactly. So
I basically cannot take the build up to that India Pakistan thing. मतलब क्रिकेट
हाँ,
जैसा भी
अच्छा
हो.
है यार वो मौका मौका एड्स नहीं आएंगे and it will be a
अरे
huge relief.
मतलब
Yeah.
इस बार
अब
तो मतलब
कहीं ना कहीं तो
when it
मिलेंगे ना,
began.
लेकिन
नहीं, मौका when it began the first time, it was quite harmless, good banter. The very first ad, the original. Ever since, it has just been just playing into the hands of bigots. बस.
Yeah. Same, yeah. I mean,
So,
they got that angle, ना बाप बाप होता है and all those things.
हाँ मतलब इस बार तो बहुत atrocious था. So just getting back to this T20 thing, I think more than anything else, I don't think we have ever had. There is too much emphasis on this पहले 6 ओवर में wickets in hand, which doesn't really, you know,
they are
that is the
basically
brand of
playing
cricket which will, yeah.
one day mode में.
Now, that
Uh,
is a brand of cricket which will never get you anywhere. Or and that is exaggerated by the fact that we do not even have the finishers anymore. So you don't have the Raina or a Yuvraj equivalent
Exactly.
who can actually make up for that.
I'll actually
So
go one layer deep into this. I have, some people who still think that that's the way to go about it. They say that every time you lose 3 wickets um, in the power play, your chances of winning drop down to like 20%. But that is happening because अभी तक सारा T20 उसी माइंडसेट से खेला गया है. So that I mean nobody considers. But yeah,
that's because
this
people
people.
shut shop immediately.
so talking of your finisher thing, there's something that bothers me a little. That is like we have players like Pandya in the team, right? Now Pandya currently is 26 years old. When Yuvraj was 26 years old, he had already won us the 2020 World Cup. He was 26 when the 2007 World Cup happened.
He
Or
was a sure shot match winner at
he
that point.
was
We
he was
bankable.
a permanent fixture. He had already won us a one-day series in Pakistan along with Dhoni. Dhoni was the same age,
Yeah.
right?
And he
Right
used to
now,
ball like he used to slip in those overs as well.
but right now
Natwich
in that
Trophy.
age category, we don't have any player who we can rely on. We basically beyond Kohli, Rohit, and Bumrah, and like a few other bowlers. There is no one that we can totally rely on as a
But a
batsman.
part of that problem also, I think the blame lies with the top order.
The blame lies with Kohli.
Kohli, because if you had played out like say a weaker top order all these years, it would have given, say, the top order would have failed more often, and that would have given more opportunities to the middle order.
Yeah.
So anyone who gets into that middle order hardly has the time to
But the
play
thing is,
different
this is
sorts
my
of
thing.
match
I
situations.
mean, I mean, when Yuvraj was developing, we had Sehwag and Sachin opening, right?
But
And
not
we had
that kind of impregnable top order, right? We never had this kind of consistent 200 for one all
Yeah,
the
no,
time.
I agree with Aditya because another thing that I observed when I was looking at the numbers was like just India के batting numbers अगर देखें T20s में the the drop after top three, like top three all have runs in thousands. Like Rohit Sharma to all time, he has the most runs in T20Is. Then it's Kohli, then it's KL Rahul. After that, the drop is like literally we are going into 3 digits and very soon into 2 digits. So it's not like that for any other team. Like they have at least 4 5 consistent. Their openers won't have as many runs, but then their 3 4 5 6 will have those runs and a
And this
better
is
strike rate too.
So it is essentially a combination of two things. One is playing a conservative top order and then exaggerating it with the conservative approach that a conservative top order takes. So that means that your middle order gets very few overs to play in any case. This happened with the one day squad also. The
Hmm.
number four problem
yeah,
was
yeah.
exactly the same, right? Even in the one day format. So the only way to get out of this rut is to somehow break the top three. Do you remember, like, in the lead up to 2011 World Cup, the One Day World Cup,
Hmm.
uh, there were very few occasions when Gambhir, Sehwag, and Sachin, all three of them played. Even
Exactly.
then,
Mhm.
Yeah, one of
Sachin
them would sit
Sachin
out.
didn't play the
Yeah.
Asia Cup in 2010. It was actually people like Rohit Sharma and Kohli and the
Mhm.
likes. Even in the South Africa series before the World Cup, that's when actually Kohli sealed his place as a one day player. Tendulkar didn't play in that one day series for a large part of it. Sehwag was semi-injured in that series, so that meant that guys like Kohli often had to chase. Like, you had a couple of run chases there where Yusuf Pathan and all these people had to
Mhm.
actually face pressure, and
Yeah.
that is how they got into the One Day World Cup, because they had match time which meant sense. The only match time that people like Kedar Jadhav and Shreyas Iyer and these likes get is that last ka 40 run where you have to just polish off a run chase. I don't think that is the kind of
And this is
run
the
chase
legacy
experience that.
thing that I'm
Huh.
talking about. Kohli has the best batsman currently around Kohli are Rohit and is Rohit, and I mean, up KLB last match we are a little colored by his good batting in the last match, but
No, no, he's been
he has not yet
even he.
established.
No, but
But he has
he
been
scored
our best
50s
T20
in.
player.
Yeah, he
No, no,
scored. I
no.
think. Yeah.
I'm not saying he's a bad batsman. What I'm trying to say
Hmm.
is that um, we have there is there is just a complete gap between Kohli, Rohit, and then reliability, right?
Hmm.
And I don't think we have played any limited overs cricket where both of them have not played. I don't know. Like, I know Kohli has sat out a number of tournaments, but I don't think we have played any cricket where Kohli and Rohit both have not played.
No,
Correct.
but do you
And
need other than those two? Do you even need that much reliability? We are again coming back. I mean,
No,
basically,
reliability in the sense that knowing that if there is a 20 ball 40 situation, there is a guy who will do it for you. Reliability of that kind, rather
okay,
than the
yeah,
reliability of like
not good
100,
getting out. Yeah.
not getting
yeah,
out.
no, no,
Right?
no, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
What I'm trying to say is that look at the 2011 World Cup team, for example. Where is Raina? Where is Yuvraj? In the sense, where is our
Hmm.
Raina? Where is our
Hmm.
Yuvraj?
Mm.
Where
Hmm.
are these people who we know are not the greatest and the best batsmen, but we know they on their day they're good enough. We don't
Even
have it
यूसुफ
right
मैन
now.
इवन यूसुफ पठान फॉर दैट वेरी लिटिल while कुछ बहुत बड़ा मतलब कुछ किया नहीं, but even यूसुफ पठान has won you a game where a run chase was
Yeah,
against
both
New
the
Zealand
Pathan
at the
brothers.
end.
Yeah, New Zealand के
So,
against and the Pathan
बिफोर
brothers were
2011 वर्ल्ड कप जो
हाँ,
साउथ अफ्रीका सीरीज हुआ था
हाँ.
उसमें याद है तुम लोगों को यूसुफ आई मीन
यूसुफ
वी
का
डिड
एक
नॉट
100
विन
है
दैट गेम
वो लास्ट
एग्जैक्टली
गेम.
एग्जैक्टली वो टेल के साथ 100 है वो
So that
yeah.
is the series I was referring
There
to.
were
Even
two. There were
Kohli has
two of them, not just
two of
one.
them.
Yeah.
And even Kohli has a 80 odd in that series, and that only resulted because of the fact that you had a more gung ho risky approach when it came to the top order. ये बहुत ही counterproductive है, where all the stats look good when it comes to Kohli and Rohit and Dhawan, but it's actually leading you nowhere.
and what will happen is that in and we've talked about it I guess इफ दिस कंटिन्यूज बिकॉज कोहली का क्या है मुझे ऐसा लगता है कोहली की एक्सपेक्टेशन बैट्समैन से वही है जो उसकी उसकी खुद से एक्सपेक्टेशन है तो द
Hmm.
मोमेंट अ बैट्समैन 3-4 मैच में नहीं स्कोर कर लाइक हाउ मेनी नंबर फोर्स वी हैड द रीजन वाज सिंपली दिस राइट बिकॉज आइदर यू डोंट गेट टू प्ले even at number 4 much or
Hmm.
if you get to play you just get like 3-4 matches because Raidu, Manish Pandey, all of these if the batting averages are above 40 in
Hmm.
ODI I'm saying
Hmm.
and yet कोहली के आई टेस्ट में कोहली का जो आई टेस्ट है उसमें अगर आप पास नहीं होते हो तो देयर इज जस्ट नो स्टेबिलिटी फॉर यू एंड आई
It's the
थिंक दैट
same
इज
thing that was said about Sachin, right, at one point.
बट Sachin was never in that position right Kohli is in that
Yeah.
position where he can
Sachin never had the resource either. So
so basically what is happening is that we are not allowing anyone to develop in that position and if this continues for the next 4 5 6 years and then at one point Kohli and Rohit both retire we will see a slump in our batting because
and
we just don't have anybody. I mean, we have
It's
good
a
batsmen, but we just don't have them. Like, they don't have enough confidence.
So it's reached a point where I actually want this side to lose more to actually understand the fact that. So I look forward to a series where it goes down to the last game and we are in a situation.
We will play a
Because this
2020
side,
series with Australia, right? Now, I mean,
there will be one
Yeah,
coming up against New Zealand. That is the one I am looking
yeah.
forward to. It's a
It's a
five-match
five
T20
T20. Yeah, it's a
series,
5 match series. Yeah.
and New Zealand might actually field an almost full strength side. So unlike Australia, Australia actually the results in one day cricket in Australia flatter to deceive actually. So even if you look at the one day series which we won in Australia last year, it was quite a mediocre Australian side, nothing like the Australian side that would go on to play the World Cup. So Australians and I think the English, they are quite clear about their priorities. They wouldn't field a full. इंडिया में ये कभी नहीं होगा. इंडिया में if you have an Australian side touring, no matter full strength B team, India will always play a top three which has to include Kohli and Rohit.
one of
क्योंकि
Yeah,
yeah,
one
of
of them.
course.
ऐसा
Yeah.
कैसे बनाएंगे?
नहीं,
स्टार
और
स्पोर्ट्स को पैसा बनाना है
both
ना.
of them actually. ऑस्ट्रेलिया तो फिर both of them.
स्टार स्पोर्ट्स को पैसा बनाना है ना. ऑस्ट्रेलिया पिछला 3 या 4 ऑस्ट्रेलियन टूर्स ऑफ इंडिया देख लो, वनडे क्रिकेट में बात कर रहा हूँ. And look at the kind of sides Australia has generally fielded. They'll never have a full strength attack. Stark mostly खेलता नहीं है. And हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं? We are fielding a side which has Dhawan, Kohli and Rohit, which means that 200 for 1, 350 वाला chase सब कुछ आराम से हो रहा है. So you are lulled into this false sense of security. You have winning series 4-1, 5-1 जो भी है, कुलचा विकेट निकाल रहा है.
Well,
मतलब
Kulcha is a big problem. By the way, yes, I mean, what's his name? Chahal.
हाँ,
So
yeah.
his T20 economy rate is like 8.5. So ऐसा भी नहीं है कि वो I mean Kuldeep is much better, but when he goes for runs, he really goes for runs. Like in the
remember
first T20s.
Klaasen,
Oh yeah,
Henrik,
Klaasen. Yeah, yeah.
in that
Even in the first
Joburg
T20
वाला game.
against West Indies, yeah.
So, so the thing is, none of them can seem to handle that bad day very well. So I think that's where we are heading to, right? Because a lot of them are very good fair weather players. The moment it comes down to that bad day, point me to one player who can actually handle himself in the middle order. Barring Kohli and Rohit, forget them for a minute. If it's a good day, it's generally Kohli and Rohit have done well. But when it's a bad day and it comes down to your number 6 and 7, वनडे हो या T20 हो, पिछले 6 साल में एक परफॉर्मेंस दिखा दो जहां से यू कैन काउंट देम इन वन हैंड. एक्चुअली इट्स दैट बैड. केदार जाधव का एक 100 ऑड वेरी चेज डाउन 350 अगेंस्ट इंग्लैंड.
That was too. I mean, Kohli also scored 100.
Kohli also scored 100. So I can't remember an occasion where this happened. There was one in which again the weirdest part is the last such performance comes from Yuvraj in that Cuttack ODI where we had like 24-3 in the same series, right?
Yeah.
In that Kedar Jadhav series, mein Dhoni and Yuvraj had that big partnership.
150
Th-
he scored.
there is no instance of a fresh face doing it for you, which is the saddest
Because
part
there is
in Indian
no. I
cricket
mean, they don't get opportunities. Like
at all.
So
And when it
here,
has come down to that, we have lost games. England, mein, when a one day series was on the line in 2018, we didn't have anyone winning it. Over one day series, which we lost 2-1, right?
yeah.
Eventually, even in that, I'll tell you that one last instance, just to end my rant.
Hmm.
I think one game which is all emblematic of all our problems is that second one day at Lords last year against England. It's a bilateral series. You are 1-0 up and you are chasing something which is quite ordinary, right? And Dhoni shuts shop at the end of the 35th over or 30th over or something, and we play out a bilateral 50 over game. And the reason and the argument that Kohli gives for that is like he wanted to save face or something in a bilateral game. अगर उतना पॉइंटलेस लो रिस्क सिचुएशन में अगर तुम रिस्क लेना तुम्हारा टीम नहीं ट्राई कर सकता है.
वैसा
I
ही हो
don't
गया है.
think I don't think there is any other game where you'll risk it. So it won't be second nature to you when it comes to a World Cup.
And
Sorry to say.
somehow this thing from Dhoni has got into Kohli as well. Like we have no, in terms of batting, we have not taken any risky decisions, and because there is no risky decisions, the payoff have been conservative as well. Like जैसे मैंने अभी कहा कि पंड्या ओपनिंग विद केएल राहुल, ऐसा ये ऐसा शायद मतलब एंड अगेन
या पंत
ऐसा
को खिला
पहले,
दो ओपनिंग
हाँ
यार, आई
ऐसा
वुड हैव।
पहले हो सकता था, या पंत को खिला दो, एग्जैक्टली पंत को कर दो, ऐसा पहले हो सकता था, पर अभी पहले इन द सेंस लाइक बिफोर धोनी these things would used to happen. We used to
Hmm.
experiment like this. Even Dhoni asking Rohit to open was in a way something that
ब्रेव
that was
डिसीजन
different. Yeah, but under Kohli we haven't had any such luck, any such.
Yeah, even for that matter, no matter how prolific Sachin and Ganguly and Sachin and Sehwag were, they were risk takers in their own given time, right? Sehwag Sachin partnership was quite enterprising.
Yeah,
उनके comparison में Dhawan and Rohit are
very
Very
much more
conservative.
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 Yeah,
वही मैं कह रहा हूँ कि although numbers और strike rate आपको ऐसा लगेगा कि इन लोग नहीं है,
yeah.
but I I I can almost like I know कि पहला like we have this game where even in like before this World Cup we were talking, right, कि पहले 10 ओवर में we will be at 40 for no loss and we'll be happy with it.
So
I
talking
don't
of
know, very naively, even without
Mm.
looking at stats, if someone can compare Sehwag Sachin ka top 10, first 10 overs ka stats, I think they would be batting at a better strike rate than Dhawan and Sharma, largely. At least
probably,
World
yeah.
Cup ka stats dekh lo, probably. Because even 2003 mein we had like 80 for none kind of
Hmm.
stats, yeah.
Pakistan
So
game,
Pakistan game, 5 over mein 50 and all. And that was quite a norm for that
and that
partnership.
is what I'm saying. सहवाग को आप
Hmm.
रोहित से कंपेयर करते हो, but रोहित
Hmm.
नहीं है. रोहित
नहीं है.
is not a good 2020 player. That's at
Hmm.
least like one day तो चलो फिर भी I you know.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And this brings me to the next question. Um,
Just
what
one more
would
thing before
be?
that.
Mhm,
So talking about making Pandya open, so
mhm,
that famous game against the West Indies which we lost, I'm
mhm,
looking at the scorecard.
mhm.
So Rohit Sharma scores 43 of 31. Rahane scores 40 of 35. Do you know the people who didn't bat in that match? So India scores 192 for 2, but
Mhm.
people who did not bat who were not utilized. Raina, Manish Pandey, Hardik Pandya, Ravindra Jadeja.
Exactly. Now,
It's such a waste. I mean, so even if Sharma and Rahane would have been out for ducks, we would have still had 66 balls to to have these
for
four
essentially
much
four
hard
And
hitting batsmen to
exactly.
do something about it. So
Um,
West Indies played more than twice the number of dot balls that India played in that match, and they still
yeah,
won.
this is a famous. I mean,
Yeah.
this is a very popular stat. Anyway, so this is so. If you were in charge, who would you pick as in either go for India's 11 or at least India's top five batsmen for this World Cup? And I know कि ऐसा मतलब this is a little difficult question क्योंकि ऐसा सोचा नहीं है, but um, just
So, okay, I would go first.
mhm,
Uh, so let's just keep Sharma and Kohli aside. I'll just
mhm.
focus on three first because I don't know if they are. I don't know. One of them should be there. That's what I feel.
Yeah.
Definitely not all three. So I
Mhm.
would definitely want to have, although he's not in form, but Pant should be there somewhere in top five.
Yeah.
On current form, probably Rahul, but I think Shreyas Iyer has that. Like at least he tries. I mean, from what
Mhm.
I've seen, he wants to be aggressive.
Yeah.
Uh, he knows what's required. And then somehow if we can play like if Shivam Dubey can become a decent enough six, then if somehow we can fit someone like a Pandya in top five, that would be
That's
perfect.
essentially what I have gone with.
Yeah.
As I said, KL and Pandya or Pant to open. Kohli, and after Kohli, I know we will like Rohit. I mean,
Somehow
but
I
in this
want
is
it's a very difficult choice because I want Rohit Sharma to be captain
and
of
don't
limited
want him to be in
overs,
the 11.
but don't want him to be like batting. So I don't know. So that's why
So
Kohli is
after
better. Yeah.
Kohli,
Davis Cup.
Either Iyer or Sharma. I guess Sharma will go. Then Sundar. Then whoever has opened, अगर पांड्या ने ओपन किया तो पंत ने ओपन किया तो पांड्या, एंड उसके बाद फिर दुबे या जडेजा में से कोई एक डिपेंडिंग ऑन द पिच,
Mm.
एंड लाइक एनीवे दे विल बी लाइक द सिक्स्थ बॉलर, एंड देन वन ऑफ कुलचा, वन ऑफ चाहर भुवी, एंड शामी एंड बुमराह. दिस विल बी माय 11.
Yeah.
Aditya,
Do you want a more realistic side या
चलो
मतलब
तुम
ideally?
रियलिस्टिक ही दे दो. रियलिस्टिक तो अभी पता ही है अपन को फिर मोर और लेस.
तो realistic है तो I can now see a situation where Dhawan wouldn't play, so that is at least we have made progress there. So probably Rohit and Rahul will open.
For
Uh,
that, Rahul has to consistently keep playing because
but I don't see Dhawan getting through now. I think Rahul will have a decent IPL as he generally does. So if Rahul does a decent New Zealand series, I think he is going to be the opener. So let's live in that world first, assuming that is realistic. So Rahul and Rohit opening. I don't see Rohit missing out, at least in the first World T20 that is coming up. The one in Australia, I think Rohit is definitely playing that. So Rohit, Rahul, Kohli, nothing much you can do there. Iyer slash Pant, depending on the game situation. So if you have a 20 for 2, then go for Iyer. If you have a 100 for 1, then your
100 for
number
two.
4 cannot 100 for 2, let us say. You cannot have a number 4 which is like set in stone. So don't utilize Shreyas Iyer if you do not need him, right? So do not have to go through that. So Pandya or Pant at 4, depending on the match situation. Then it basically your 4, 5, 6 are just Pandya, Pant, and Shreyas Iyer in any damn order as of then. Then I'd have like you have to go with someone like Deepak Chahar just for his batting, because this bottom three, none of them being able to hold the bat, I think that has an effect on the way the top order bats. So you will need. I'd go for Jadeja.
Definitely, Jadeja should definitely be there. Yeah.
Even if I do not like him as a T20 bowler, not the wicket taking option,
No, but
especially given it's Australia.
he gets wickets through his fielding very
Yeah, but
consistently.
I'd definitely go for Jadeja over Krunal Pandya, man.
no, I'm not.
Definitely
Yeah,
no.
Krunal Pandya,
Oh
I
yeah,
don't think is a finished product, and अभी time भी नहीं है इतना.
नहीं, no Krunal Pandya, thankfully, and Jadeja, Kuldeep over Chahal for me, and then कितना हो गया अभी?
अभी अब तुम गिनो ना 8 हो गए 9 हो गया.
9
and
हो
of
गया
course
ना?
Bumrah is there, so that's one
Boom,
spot is fixed.
Bumrah and Shami.
तो
That would be my 11.
So three
And
pacers
Shivam
then.
Dube bahar for now. Yeah, 3 paces given Australia, I'd go for 3.
And also, I
And
mean, if
my
you have Pandya in there, then I think, yeah, that's a good choice actually, because I also think sometimes we just like Bangladesh against we got away with it, but we definitely need 6, I would say 7 bowling
7.
options, where at least the 6th and the 7th can give you 2-3
Ideally, an 11 should have 8 batting options and 7 bowling option in the 11.
at least, yeah.
basically England की बात कर रहे हो तुम.
Yeah.
More or less,
Or
yeah.
New Zealand, I mean, literally, other than their keeper, everybody can roll their
अरे
arm.
the saddest part is that हमारे पास मिचेल सैंटनर के लिए भी तोड़ नहीं है basically. मतलब बैटिंग बॉलिंग
Yeah.
बैलेंस के हिसाब से वनडे क्रिकेट में इट्स दैट बैड. And Shami versus Bhuvi is also 50-50. So given a series, you can actually go for
I mean, yeah,
Bhuvi
they can
over
be in the same squad,
Shami.
maybe
They can be in
rotate
the
them
same
or,
squad,
yeah.
and that will give you more depth. Bhuvi of
Movie
late
bats
has
also well. Yeah.
Bhuvi का आजकल hitting ability भी it has improved quite a lot. So
So,
that would be my 11.
so with this, let us end this segment, and we've already almost on 1 hour mark. So let us end this segment, or if we decide to upload it as an episode, let us end this episode, guys.
Game on है जी.
Game on.
कर दिया ना, बिना गेम होने की बात की, गेम होने. ओके.
It's a short ball. Rabbit moves back and falls scarcely past square leg. So this is cricket.
Victory to the Australians by 8 wickets.
He's done it. Got in. Round. He's got 2. Beautifully caught.
He's done it.